All right, you guys. Welcome to today's flow. We are going to get into some balancing today. So if at home, if you have a yoga block, by all means use it. If you don't and you want to grab either a sturdy shoebox or a thick book, that might be a good option for you today. That being said, we can go ahead and get started. Whenever you do a practice that involves a lot of balancing, it's always a really good idea to get started by grounding and settling yourself. So go ahead and come into a comfortable cross-legged position. And it doesn't matter which shin is in front, just do whichever one is comfortable for you. And then turn your palms face down to rest on the tops of your knees. Close your eyes. And just allow yourself a moment to settle in and shift your attention. So you may notice sounds around you. You may notice sensations in your body, right? You sort of fidget to get comfortable. You may notice little thoughts running in and out of your mind. All of those things always exist. They don't go away. For the next hour, you're just going to make a conscious effort to shift your attention to your breath. So take a nice big inhale through your nose, filling yourself up completely full. And then exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And again, nice big inhale through your nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And one more time, biggest inhale so far. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And then as you start to find that steady, even flow of breath in and out through your nose, you may find that you're able to turn the volume down on sensations, sound, thoughts. Just continually coming back to that steady inhalation and steady exhalation. And then maintaining that breath control, blink your eyes open. Hook your thumbs, inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Just give yourself a little bit of reach, a little bit of length through your spine. And then lean yourself all the way up and over towards the right. Anchoring down through your left hip. And then inhale, come back up to center, release the hands, just switch the thumbs so that the other thumb is on top, and then switch the feet so that the other shin is in front. Reach the arms forward and up, just giving yourself a nice bit of space in between each one of your ribs. And then lean yourself up and over to the left. The inhale, come back up to center. Release both of the arms, and then you're going to shift into cat-cow. So you're going to come onto all fours, stacking your shoulders right up over your wrists, your hips right up over your knees, pressing down through all 10 fingers, pressing down through the tops of your feet. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward, send the gaze up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, press and round through the spine, drop the crown of the head, just warming up each one of your vertebrae. Inhale, lengthening the chest forward, beginning to connect your breath with movement. Exhale, press and round through your spine. And one more time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, press and round. And then inhale, come to a flat back. You're going to step your right foot all the way back to the back of the mat. Press the ball of the foot into the floor so you can feel that even weight through your hands. That pressing of the foot into the ground allows you to open up the backs of the feet just a little bit. And then keeping the same activation in your leg, just float the right leg up until it hovers parallel to the floor. Lift through your low belly, come up to your left fingertips. So you're shifting the weight into that right hand a little bit. And then reach that left arm forward towards the front of the room. So you come into a little cross-diagonal balance here. Can you reach the left arm forward and the right foot back with equal vigor while keeping a sense of balance in the middle? Keeping flow of breath in and out through your nose. And then exhale, set the left hand down, set the right knee down. Extend your left leg all the way back, press down through the ball of the foot. Lift through your low belly here. So before you ever come into that little balance posture, you build a foundation so that as you float that left leg parallel to the floor, you've already activated through your low belly. You're already lifted and secure, so that as you shift into your left hand and come up to your right fingertips, you can just float that right arm forward. Reaching with vigor through the right hand, reaching with vigor through the back of that left heel. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, release everything down to the mat. Tuck both of your toes, hug the outer ankles in, and lift yourself up into your first downward facing dog of the day. And so your heels root down towards the floor. They may or may not touch. You may find that you feel a little sticky or tight in the backs of your legs. So if you want to pedal out the feet a little bit, that's a great option. And bending one knee really deeply and sending the opposite heel to the floor. These first couple moments are really about you getting acquainted with your body as it is today. So any kind of early fidgets, anything that you need in order to settle in, it's just fine with me. Then as you're ready, you can come to stillness in that downward facing dog. And you're going to inhale, glide forward into a plank pose, top of a push-up. So you want your shoulders to stack right up over your wrists. So you may find that you want to step your feet back just a little bit so that your torso can be nice and long. Your belly is lifted. And then as you exhale, press it back into your downward facing dog. You may find, like I am right now, that in this longer dog, my heels don't come nearly as close to the floor. And that's fine. Keep the length of the dog, even if the heels don't touch the floor. They're just moving in that direction. And then again, inhale, glide forward, plank pose. Exhale, press it back to your dog. One more just like that. Inhale, glide forward into the plank. Exhale, press it back into your dog. And then this time, inhale, glide forward into that plank pose. Lower your knees all the way down to the ground. Shift your chest a little bit forward past your hands. Bend your elbow tips straight back. Pause for just a moment in this little like baby push-up. And then exhale, release the belly, the chest down to the floor. Walk the toe tips back towards the back of the mat. Reach the arms all the way back. Press down through the tops of the thigh bones, the tops of the feet, and just peel the chest up. And then exhale, release everything down. Keeping the arms reaching back alongside you for one more round. Inhale, peel the chest up, reach the arms back. And then bring your hands into that chaturanga position, but let them hover just an inch above the floor. Hug the elbows in, start to activate in between your shoulder blades. And then as you press the hands down into the ground, you might find that you're able to pull the chest just a little bit further forward. Float the feet up so we come into what's called Shalabhasana B, a little variation on a locust pose. And then exhale, release the feet down. Release the chest back down towards the floor, the head back down to the floor. And then this time, as you press down through the tops of the feet and the hands, you peel the chest up. You might stay in this little baby cobra, or you might push down through the tops of the feet and lift yourself all the way up to upward facing dog. And then exhale, press it back. Downward facing dog. Take a big inhale through your nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward past your hands. And then exhale, start to walk your feet up to the top of the mat. It may be one big step or it may be a few little steps, especially if the backs of your legs feel a little bit on the tighter side. And then just allow your head to hang forward. You might bend your knees a little or a lot. Again, if the backs of your legs are tight, bent knees are a great option. Reach the arms back behind you, interlace the fingertips. So for a little gentler action on your shoulders, keep your hands close to your tailbone. For a little bit more, you reach them up towards the ceiling. Bend your left knee really deeply, straighten through your right leg, and roll the right shoulder open towards the ceiling. On your next exhale, release. Switch the crossing of the hands again so the other thumb is on top. Hands can be close to the tailbone or reaching up towards the ceiling. Bend through that right knee really deeply, straighten through that left leg, and roll the left shoulder up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, release everything back into that forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward, Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. So your hands might come to the shins, or you might keep the hands on the floor. It's up to you. Exhale, release over your legs. And then inhale, press down through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, draw hands to prayer at your heart. Close your eyes. And take a moment to settle yourself into Tadasana. So this is your mountain pose. Every one of your standing poses will have elements of this foundation to it. So give yourself a moment here at the beginning. Notice where the weight is in your feet. Can you shift until all four corners of the feet are rooted? Can you hug your outer hips in so that your legs feel stable? Can you lengthen your spine towards the ceiling like you were trying to touch the crown of your head towards the ceiling? And then soften your shoulders down away from your ears. Your chin is parallel to the floor, and then notice as you're standing in this strong Tadasana, if you've started to build a little tension along with your stability. Take a nice big inhale through your nose. Exhale, release it out of your mouth. So you can stand strong and stable without being tense. And then blink your eyes open. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. And then exhale, dive and fold forward over your legs, coming back into that forward fold. Inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. So hands on shins or fingertips on the floor. Exhale, release, plant your hands flat. Step it back into your plank pose, top of a push-up. And then knees up or down, your choice. Shift forward, bend the elbows straight back, chaturanga. Roll over the tops of the feet, coming back into that baby cobra or maybe an upward facing dog. Exhale, press it back to your downward facing dog. 5 smooth, steady breaths. And on your next inhale, bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward. And again, a big step or a bunch of little steps, or if you want to jump your way forward to the top of the mat, you will. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward into that flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release over your legs. Press down through your feet. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, draw the hands to prayer at your heart. So that same sequence, just 2 more times. Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, dive and fold forward. Inhale, lengthen to a flat back. Exhale, plant your hands. Step it back into that plank pose, top of a push-up. Again, knees up or down, your choice. Shift forward, bend those elbows straight back. Chaturanga. Roll over the tops of the feet, little baby cobra, or maybe a big up dog. And then exhale, press it back to your downward facing dog. Pausing again, taking 5 smooth, steady breaths. And bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward, past your hands, exhale, step forward, jump your way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, release over your legs. Press down through your feet, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, draw hands to prayer. Last time, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands flat. Step it back into your plank pose. Knees up or down. Shift forward, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Roll over the tops of the feet, lift the chest. And then exhale, press it back to your downward facing dog. 5 smooth breaths. So from this point forward, if you find that those chaturangas start to become a little bit too much, you can just skip them and go straight from a plank to a downward facing dog. So just bearing that in mind. Find again the stability in your hands. All 10 fingers are rooted. And then inhale, sweep your right leg up and back behind you, coming into a 3-legged downward facing dog. You can open up through your hip, bend your knees, circle your ankle, find a little release through your hip flexor. And then step that right foot down next to your left foot. Inhale, float the left leg up and back behind you. Open up through your hip, bend your knees, circle your ankle, find a wee bit of release there. Set your left foot down next to your right. Inhale, glide forward, plank pose, top of the push-up. And then pick your right foot up to hover just an inch above the floor, so you find a little bit of balance here. Exhale, draw the knee up into the nose, round through the upper spine. And then inhale, sweep the leg up and back behind you. Exhale, tap the knee on the back of your right tricep. It may or may not make contact. You're just moving in that direction. Inhale, sweep the leg up and back behind you. Exhale, tap the knee on the back of your left tricep. Again, it may or may not make contact. You're just moving in that direction. And then inhale, draw the knee back up to the nose. Press down through the hands, lift through your low belly. Step the right foot in between the 2 fingertips. And lift your chest forward. So you come into a high runner's lunge here, hugging the right hip in towards the midline of your body. Can you activate that back leg like you did at the very beginning of class when you were on your hands and knees? Right now it's going to act as an anchor for you. Hug your right hip in. Root down through both of your feet, especially that front foot. And then sweep the arms up and back behind you. So you come into this little balanced variation of a crescent pose. Notice how you hold your breath when it starts to get challenging. Can you keep it flowing? And then split the arms open wide to the side walls. Bring your left hand down to a floor or maybe a book if the floor feels like it's a long way away from you. Reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Take a nice easy twist here. Right arm reaches forward towards the front of the room so you start to really elongate through that right side waist. And then exhale, right hand comes down to the ground. Squeeze that right knee right back up into your chest, nice and easy. And then here's one of those moments where as you step that right foot back into your plank pose, you can decide if you'd like to go straight to a downward facing dog, or from that plank pose, if you'd like to take it through a vinyasa, that chaturanga up dog. Take a nice big inhale through your nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And then inhale, glide forward, plank pose, top of the cushion. Pick up your left foot, let it hover just an inch above the floor. So you're finding a little balance. Exhale, draw the left knee up into the nose, around through your upper spine. Inhale, sweep that leg up and back behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, tap the knee on the back of your left tricep. Inhale, sweep the leg up and back behind you. Exhale, tap the knee on the back of your right tricep. Inhale, sweep the leg up and back behind you. And then exhale, draw the knee up into your nose. Step the foot in between those two hands. Come up high onto your fingertips here. Your left knee is going to stack right up over the left ankle. Your spine is reaching forward. Your left hip is hugging in towards the midline of your body. So you're creating that really long runner's lunge. And then before you come into balance, you need to activate through your low belly to support you. Activate through the ball of your back foot to energize that back leg. Find Tadasana in your front foot. And so all four corners of that front foot root. And when all that's in place, your fingertips can get a little bit lighter, and you just float your arms back alongside you. Keeping the breath flowing evenly. Inhale, split the arms open wide to the side walls. And then exhale, right hand comes down to the floor, or to your block or shoebox or book or whatever you've got. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Take that nice little twisted variation of the runner's lunge. Reach the left arm forward towards the front of the room. Couple more breaths here. And then exhale, left hand comes down to the ground. This time you're going to step that back foot forward to meet the front foot. So you're in that Uttanasana at the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the chest, forward, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release over your legs. And then this time, bend your knees nice and low, Utkatasana, chair pose. So sit those hips way back, reach the arms way up high. And then press down to the feet. Come on up to standing, draw hands to prayer at your heart, close your eyes. And give yourself a moment to resettle into that Tadasana. All four corners of the feet root, hips hug, spine lengthens, shoulders soften. And then as you're ready, blink your eyes open. Inhale, sit it right back down into that chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your hands down flat, step it back into your plank pose, and then you decide vinyasa or straight from a plank to a downward facing dog. This time when you come to the dog, the right foot steps directly in between your two hands. Back heel spins to the ground. Inhale, rises you up into a warrior one, just a single breath here. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back into your plank and you decide, chaturanga up dog or maybe straight to your down dog. Left foot steps forward. Back heel spins to the ground. Inhale, rise up, so just one breath per movement. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back and take it through. As you make it back to your downward facing dog, you sort of start to notice that the slower you go, the more challenging it is, the deeper the breath has to become. Bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward, exhale, step or lightly jump your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, release. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Come on up to standing, draw hands to prayer at your heart. We're going to do all that again one more time. Inhale, sit up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands. Step it back into that plank pose, top of a push-up. You decide, chaturanga, up dog, or maybe straight to a down dog. Right foot steps forward, back heel spins. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back and take it through. Left foot steps forward, back heel spins. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back and take it through. Take a nice big inhale through your nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Separate your feet just a little wider than hips distance. And then you're going to walk your hands all the way back to the back of the mat. Again, maybe the knees are bent a little or a lot. You can grab opposite elbows here and just kind of let yourself sway back and forth. Notice if you're holding tension in your neck. You can nod your head yes, shake your head no. You can switch the crossing so that your other elbow is on top. Should feel a little funny for a couple of moments. And then release the hands down to the ground. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward, Ardha Uttanasana. So again, hands on shins or hands on the floor. Exhale, release. Press down through your feet. Sweep your arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, draw hands to prayer at your heart. We're going to move into Shawson, the tree pose. So I'm going to turn so that you can see me, but you're welcome to stay in the direction that you're pointing. You're going to step your feet all the way together. Shift the weight into the left foot. Pick up your right foot and take it either into this hip crease, right? Or if that's a little much, you can take it in between the shin, or on the shin, in between the knee and the ankle. You just don't want to bisect your knee, right? So it's either above the kneecap or below the kneecap. Or if your balance feels super kind of like wobbly today, you can always take the toes down and use them as like a little kickstand. So wherever you end up, find Tadasana in that standing foot. Hug that left hip in, drop that right hip down. And then reach the arms up towards the ceiling. So first standing balance of the day. Maybe your gaze lifts up towards your hands. You can close your eyes and find out if your balance feels a little wobbly with the eyes closed. And then notice if you start to hold your breath, notice how the weight naturally shifts kind of forward, back, side to side on that standing leg. So even though you're relatively still here, it's not static. And then exhale, release. Shift the weight into the right foot. Pick up your left foot. And then wherever you placed it on side one, place it there on side two again. There's no rush. So just because you've got a kickstand today or maybe the foot on the shin, you don't have to force anything. There's plenty of time to open the hip. And then as you're ready, the arms reach up towards the ceiling. Maybe the gaze points up towards the ceiling. Notice that little shift and wobble from one foot to the other. Or rather, from one part of the foot to the other. You're still standing on the same foot. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, release. And then nice and easy, inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, release over your legs. Crawl yourself all the way back out to a downward facing dog. Inhale, float your right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, draw the knee up to the nose. Step the foot in between the two hands. Spin that back heel down to the ground. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. And then exhale, open it up, warrior two. So your right foot is rooted, the back heel is sealing into the ground. Your gaze is steady over your front fingertips. Flip your front palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, bring the elbow to the knee, reach the left arm up and overhead. And then again, inhale, reverse it. Exhale, elbow to knee, left arm up and overhead. And then this time, inhale, reverse the warrior. And then exhale, come right upright to that warrior two. Let your gaze be nice and steady over your front fingertips. Maybe you close your eyes, especially if your brain feels a little fidgety. And then turn the volume up on your breath. Two more cycles of breath here. And then on your next exhale, circle the hands down to the ground. So you're going to come back into that runner's lunge from earlier. Right knee stacked right up over that right ankle. Spine is nice and long. Left hand plants flat on the ground. You're going to turn your your right toes towards the right side of the mat and spin all the way onto the outer edge of your back foot, reaching your right arm up towards the ceiling. So this may be enough right here. You've got a little balance happening already. Or you might stack the right foot on top of the left, coming into Vashisthasana, the side plank. And so this is an arm balance in and of itself. You start to hold your breath, and you keep a steady flow even in the midst of challenge. And if it becomes way too much to do that, just bring your left knee down to the ground. Right arm continues to reach. You're building that same sense of strength. And then exhale, right hand comes down to the ground without having to create suffering. Step it back. And maybe you take it through a vinyasa, or maybe you go straight from a plank to a downward facing dog. Left leg floats up and back behind you. Exhale, draw the knee up into your nose. Step the foot in between the two hands. Back heel spins to the ground. Inhale, rise up into that warrior one. Exhale, open it up, warrior two. So stabilize through your feet first. And then you start to flow. Flip the front palm. Reverse your warrior on an inhale. Exhale, left elbow to the knee, right arm reaches up and over. Inhale, reverse it. Exhale, elbow to knee. One more time, inhale, reverse. And then this time, exhale, come into that warrior two. Let your gaze be steady over your left fingertips. Or maybe close your eyes. And just live in the pause for a few breaths. And on your next exhale, circle the hands down to the ground. You come back into that high runner's lunge. Your right hand plants flat on the floor. Your left toes are going to turn towards the left side of the mat, spin onto the outer edge of the back foot. So this could be a really big hip stretch already in that left hip. And the left arm reaches up towards the ceiling, and that may be enough. You're like, yep, that's cool for now. Or you can stack the left foot directly on top of the right, side arm balance, Vashisthasana. And if you'd rather split the difference between those two and bring the right knee down to the ground, that's a great option too. You pick a version that dances that line between being just challenging enough, but you can still breathe. One more inhale wherever you are. And then exhale, left hand comes down to the ground. So you're either in a plank pose already, or you need to step that right foot back, and then you take a vinyasa, or you go straight to your dog, your choice. Bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward past your hands, and exhale, step or lightly jump your way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. Exhale, release. Press down through your feet, sweep your arms up and overhead on that inhale. Exhale, draw hands to prayer at your heart. Close your eyes. Find your Tadasana. And then blink your eyes open. We're going to take all that solid foundation that you built, and now really the rubber meets the road on the balancing. So shift the weight into your right foot. Pick up your left knee. And you're going to tip the chest forward and float that left leg all the way back towards the back of the mat. So can you imagine, like when you were at the very beginning of class and you were floating that leg up, that same amount of strong reach through that left heel. And then split the arms open wide, and this might be where a book or a block underneath you is going to be helpful. You're going to open the left chest up and bring the right hand down to the ground, Ardha Chandrasana, the half moon. So fingertips on the floor or hand on a block or book. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. That right hip really hugs in towards the midline of your body. And this may be plenty, right? Or if you're feeling kind of fancy and you want to bend that lifted leg and hold on to that lifted left foot for Chapasana, you can do so. You don't have to get crazy, but it's your time. One more breath here. And then exhale, your left hand comes down to the ground. You're going to tuck that left knee right back behind the right knee. And then just sit yourself all the way down onto the ground. So your right knee is going to be stacked right up over your left. So I'll turn so you can see me. It's called Gomukhasana. If that's too much, if your hips are a little bit on the tighter side, you can come right back into this comfortable cross-legged position. Whatever works. Sweep the arms up and overhead on your inhale. And then exhale, tip yourself forward. Let the hands rest on the floor. Just give yourself a little bit of balancing sorbet for a second, right? You're really grounding down, steadying out the breath. Just giving the hips a little chance to open up. One more breath here. And then walk your hands back so you come up to seated. You're going to take that right foot and step it down in front of your left knee. So it's kind of like a little Tadasana shape there. And shift yourself forward. Plant your fingertips down. And it's like nothing ever happened. You're just going to unfurl the left leg up towards the ceiling. You come back into this modified version of Warrior 3. This time, your left hand is going to plant on the floor or your block, and you're going to start to twist and open your right arm up towards the ceiling, any amount. And then really notice here if you start to hold your breath Or if even in the twist and the balance, you can find a little bit of flow in and out through your nose. Last inhale here. And then exhale, release that left foot down to the ground. Just let yourself hang like a ragdoll for a second. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward into that flat back. Exhale, release. Bend your knees into that chair pose, Utkatasana. And then come on up to standing, draw hands to prayer at your heart. Close your eyes for a second. Find that even standing. And then when you feel solid, blink your eyes open. Shift the weight into the left foot. Pick up your right knee. And we just have one side to go. Tip the chest forward. Float that right leg all the way back towards the back of the mat. So it takes a ton of lift through your low belly and a lot of stabilization for that outer left hip. To sort of feel like the joints are supported in a balance like this. And then split the arms open wide to the side walls. Of course, it goes without saying that if you need a breather, take a breather. Left hand comes down to the ground or to a block. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. And some days your balance feels like super solid. Some days you feel like you're trying to build a foundation on sand. Just meet yourself where you are today. And you may even notice that one side is really different from the other. If you want to bend through that top knee for Tadasana, you can do so. 2 more breaths here. And then release that top foot. Right hand comes down to the ground. Bend through that standing knee. Just tuck that right leg right behind that standing left knee. Walk your hands back a little bit until you can sit yourself all the way down onto the floor. Left knee stacked directly over right, or you take that Sukhasana, easy seat. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, fold. So notice when you shift from balancing to grounding. How quickly can you just resettle your brain and your body? Inhale, walk your hands back. Step your left foot forward. So it's just kind of on the inside of that right knee, and you can plant the foot flat. Shift yourself all the way forward. Float that right leg all the way back. Lengthen your spine forward towards the front of the room. So your right hand now plants on a block, or maybe the fingertips are on the floor. And you just add that element of twist. Get yourself all twisted up. Couple more breaths here. Even in the twist, can you reach the right heel way back? Reach the crown of the head way forward. So you create, even here, a little length in your spine. And then exhale, left hand comes down to the ground. Right foot comes down to the ground. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward, flat back. Exhale, release over your legs, plant the hands down. We're going to take it through one last vinyasa. Step it back into your plank pose. Shift forward, bend the elbows. Inhale, roll over the tops of the feet. Exhale, press it back to your dog. Take a huge inhale through your nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Lower your knees all the way down to the ground. Untuck your toes and shift your hips back, coming into little child's pose here. So just give yourself a breath or two to settle. And then roll yourself all the way up to seated. Shift the hips off to one side. Swing your legs around towards the front of the mat. Sit up nice and tall, reach the arms forward. And then one vertebra at a time. You're going to roll yourself all the way down onto the back until your head touches the floor and you're totally supported by the mat. Hug the knees up into your chest. And just give yourself a little rock from side to side. So it's like a little massage of the spine on the ground. So the big efforting part of your yoga practice today is now done. We'll do just a little back bend. But mostly now, from this point forward, you're coming down the mountain, which is just as important as climbing it. So bring your feet down to the ground. And you find Tadasana here, so all four corners of your feet root. Bend at your elbows so they make like little robot arms. Press down to the backs of the arms and the feet, and then lift your hips coming into a bridge pose. You might find it's fine to keep your arms here, or you can extend them long. You can hold the sides of your mat or interlace them back behind you. You're just going to take one nice long bridge pose here. So your tailbone reaches forward, your chest moves towards your chin. This kind of wakes you up. And then exhale one vertebra at a time. Lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Draw the knees up into your chest. And just allow your knees to fall to the right, your head to turn to the left. Easy twist. So as the physical effort becomes a little easier, sometimes the volume starts to get turned up on the thoughts and the sensations. Even here, can you just keep yourself steadily focused on your breath? Avoiding the temptation to just kind of check out. And inhale, come up to center. And exhale, let the knees fall to the other side. And inhale, come back up to center. Reach down for the outer edges of the feet, or maybe the outer edges of your shins, and give yourself a little happy baby here. You can rock a little from side to side, or maybe stay still. It's totally up to you. And then release the feet down to the floor. You're going to cross your right ankle over top of your left, making a little figure four with that right leg. And you may find that this is enough, right? So like for me, my hip is kind of tight today. And maybe I just pause here for several breaths. If you find you want a little bit more, you're going to draw the whole package towards you by lifting through that left leg and then taking your right hand through the little hole of that figure four. And you either hold the front of your shin or the back of your thigh bone. If you find that when you start to draw the legs up towards you, all of a sudden the upper chest gets really tense and lifts, take it easy, right? So you want your shoulders to be released into the ground. So if you need to adjust your legs so that your shoulders can stay relaxed, that's the ticket. And then just allow yourself a nice long breath. Take just about 5 to 10 more breaths. Gently opening through your hip. And then release that left foot down to the ground. Step the right foot down to the ground. And then we take the figure 4 on the second side. So cross the left ankle over top of the right knee. From deep inside that hip socket, you're rotating through the hip here. Your shoulders are completely relaxed onto the floor. And if this is enough, let this be where you stop. Otherwise, if you can keep those shoulders relaxed and draw the right knee up into your chest, the hands can come around the front of the shin, the back of the leg. At this point, it should all feel pretty juicy and nice. So whatever is juicy and nice for you is the metric we're using for success. Easy, steady breath. Just about 5 to 10 more breaths. Release that right foot down to the ground. Release the left foot down to the ground. You're going to come up to seated one more time. So draw the knees up into the chest. Start to rock yourself forward and back until you come all the way back up to that seated position. Extending the legs forward in front of you. So this is Tadasana. And if you find that the backs of your legs are really on the tighter side and you've got a blanket nearby and you want to just sit the hips up a little bit, that's a great option. This is going to be one last forward fold. So you're going to reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Hinge at the hips and fold forward over your legs. But if you find that you reach the arms up and you get about here and you're like, that's all there is to it, bring the hands back behind you. Just work on lifting your spine. I think you're probably already getting a lot of sensation in the backs of the legs. Just allow this nice release wherever it is. And then inhale, roll yourself up to seated. Exhale, come all the way back down onto your back. And then this time, you're just going to allow your feet to flop open and allow your palms to flop open. Allow yourself to just fully rest on the mat. And it can be very tempting to skip this part and go about your day. But this is where it all comes together. So I highly recommend taking a few minutes for Shawson. So as you get yourself settled, take one last big controlled inhale through your nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And for a few minutes here, just allow your mind and your body to rest. I have my eye on the timer. Feel free to just allow yourself to relax. Allow your next inhale to be just a little bit deeper. You're going to wiggle through your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms up and overhead like you're waking up for the first time today. And as you're ready, begin to make your way back up to a comfortable cross-legged position. Keeping your eyes closed, you just finish things out exactly where you began. A comfortable seated position, your hands resting on the tops of your knees. Aware of your breath, aware of sensation, aware of sounds, aware of thoughts. And then drawing hands to pray at your heart. Bow your head towards your hands, finishing things out always with a little gesture of gratitude. And taking gratitude with you as you move off of your mat and into the rest of your day. Namaste. Lovely work, you guys. If you have any questions or requests, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. I'm here live every Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. And if you can't make it to one of the live sessions, it will be available on my channel same day or on demand viewing. So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next week.